T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Oh, what a night. Yeah, that's the title of today's episode of the RP Show. That's what we got for you here for the next 2 hours. I'll tell you what. Who the hell was it? John Denver saying, some days are diamonds, some days are stones. Well, last night was definitely a diamond. South Florida was the place to be. And the place to be today is right where you are, watching the RP Show. Thanks. Scruffy's with us coming up in hour 2. Jared Dumba from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family. Oh, what a night. I can't get it off my head, Scruffy. Do you like that catchy tune from Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons? Do you like that song?
I did until about 30 seconds ago.
Until I started singing it. Oh, I
Yeah.
see you're at your Scruffy best today. What's going on with you, Scruff Dog?
Nothing, just looking out the window, seeing more snow going. Great.
I got you. Okay, well,
No, you
settle
don't.
in for some hot sports talk. I will say this. Brian from Winnipeg was right out of the chute. Real quick, he wrote in. He said, hey, Rod, I see Florida got a big dump of snow. Did you feel like you were having a bad dream and we're back in Canada? No, that's up near the Florida Panhandle, bro. I'm way, 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 way down south. Look at a map. They haven't had snow here since 1977. But enough with the weather report. We're opening, Mitchell, with hockey of the Quick Six show topics, and we're obviously going to wind our way around to a lot of football. And I guess, hey, did you watch any hockey last night, or were you all in on the college national championship?
No, I watched because it was the holiday in the U.S., obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Washington, Colorado yesterday afternoon, and I watched the first period and maybe half of the second of the Florida San Jose game. Missed the goalie fight though.
I almost did too. Okay. Because I was trying to be charitable and open up with the Leafs, but I mean, they lost. Marcus Foligno scored 3 times. Vladimir Tarasenko had 2 goals. Quinn Hughes, Brock Faber, and Kirill Kaprizov each had 2 helpers, and visiting Minnesota Wild beat the Leafs 6-3 last night at Scotiabank Arena. That was one of the 5 picks that I had right out of the 10 games. I talked to somebody who watched that game. They said Quinn Hughes ran the whole game. He ran it, and this was a hockey guy, but I didn't watch the game. So for Leaf fans, is that true? Did you lose to Quinn Hughes last night? Because that's what it sounds like. But Mitchell, what you're talking about, Will Smith scored in his 2nd consecutive game after coming back from injury, after missing a month, and he scored for San Jose, spoiled Matthew Tkachuk's season debut as the Sharks beat the Panthers 4-1 in Sunrise last night. And even in the Canadian press story, it says, Florida's Sergei Bobrovsky battled with San Jose's Alek Nedeljkovic with 14 minutes to go in the game. So here's the thing. I'm sitting in the press box. I'm kind of watching this little scrum in the corner, and the guy beside me, Peter Micheludi, he's a hockey guy from Sudbury. He's elbowing me. He's like, hey, here comes Bob. Or he goes, here comes the goalie. And I look out of a corner of I grab my phone, and because if he's going to skate the length of the ice, you know how this is going to end.
Oh, yeah.
And it did. Dude, it's 50-50, the talk here today. It's 50-50. The goalie fight with Bob and the national championship last night. So,
well, here's how rare goalie fights are, Rod. Mm-hmm. The last goalie fight in the NHL, and this one was a dandy. And it even had me up on my couch on the Saturday night when I was watching it. Mike Smith versus Cam Talbot.
I was watching it too.
Battle of Alberta.
Hockey night in Canada.
Yep, I think that was at least 3 years ago.
No, it was pre-COVID. I saw that.
Was it pre-COVID?
Somebody related it to that. They said it was 2019.
Wow.
That Mike Smith was with the Oilers. That's just what I read. It's on the internet, so it's got to be true. So, yeah, it's funny you go down that road because the poll question for EMJ Marketing today is, do you like goalie fights? And just say, like 89% of the people that have voted already say yes. What's wrong with the other 11%? Ron in Calgary Ron from Pigeon Lake, Alberta, wrote me and said, were you ever in a goalie fight? I'm not a fighter. It's a big 0 for me. But clearly you're voting yes on the goalie fights, Mitch.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I have a question for you about that game. Mm-hmm. You went to Facebook and you said you've now seen Bedard, you've now seen Celebrini, and you know who you're taking. What's the difference between Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard?
Connor has a far, far, far better shot. I would say Celebrini didn't have his best game last night. It's the only time I've ever seen him play live. I've seen Connor Bedard play dozens of times. So, yep. I mean, you know as well as I do that I'm biased, and everybody knows that. I think at the end, they're both going to have tremendous careers, but I think Connor will have had the better career when all is said and done. But I'll tell you what, San Jose's a wagon, which also reminds me, how the heck did we get up against it for our first break already? Drew Remenda, the San Jose Sharks TV analyst, said to say hi to you, and you know us both well because you've worked with us both. I was like, yeah. I thought he was blowing smoke. He's like, no. Say hi to Scruffy. Why, we get you out there. It's Game Plus, right? I'm like, in San Jose? He's like, yeah, it's on our cable package. Wow. San Jose, California. So hello to everybody in San Jose today. And San Francisco, and you said as if you thought he wouldn't remember you. He said specifically, say hi to Scruffy. You're very memorable, Mitch. And clearly you have a lot of fans out in San Jose. So Drew Remenda, San Jose Sharks TV analyst, said to say, hey, he said they watch us out here. It's like the LA Kings crew when they rolled here, some of their staff for the Winter Classic, and they said they watch us in LA. I didn't even know that we were on in California. So hello to everybody.
Sasky boy with the Kings and the Sharks, Jarrett Stoll, and of course Drew's from Saskatoon. So
we walk among you. Remember how that used to be a slogan? We walk among you. So anyways, we open with hockey. We're going to come back around to more hockey. Paul Maurice said after the game, I was standing right beside him. I got to go back and look at the exact quote, but he said something along the lines of, Mitch, we're in some trouble. 4 points out of a playoff spot. Yeah, I was really. He was steamed. But as I was talking to a buddy of mine from Estevan this morning, I said, I don't care if it's a junior A coach of the Bruins or Paul Maurice. They lose, they're pissed. It's what they do. So Paul Maurice wasn't in a real good mood last night to talk about the loss or Bob fighting or anything else. But we do have a national championship to get to. We have a hell of a lot of NFL stuff to get to. We really cracked the lid on some cool MLB talk yesterday. I don't expect to go down that road here today with Scruffy again, but it didn't take long, Mitch. It's funny. It's like waving a match over a tank of gas. Didn't take long. They're dialed in. I don't know if that was because of the Blue Jays going to the World Series or what, but I will tell you, 902-518-3033 is the text line. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Oh, and Al Tour was at the game last night as well. I have some stories on that.
Oh, who's he with now?
The Rangers, the New York Rangers. Had a good talk with House, a really good talk with House last night. Oh, we have a lot to get to today, so get comfortable, everybody. We will be right back. You are watching across Canada and 32 U.S. states on the Game Plus television network and WQVC radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
Welcome back to the RP Show. We're open for business. The text line's open for business. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Are you ready for a new ride? Head to Western Dodge, where the deals are real and the service is legendary. At 902-518-3033, Scott in Moose Jaw writes in. He says, how do you like that Indiana win last night? Kelly in the Queen City writes in. He says, morning to yous. Pretty good football championship match last night. And a good tribute in Chicago for number 19. Great to see it. So, Mitch, to that national championship last night, point two of the Quick Six show topics. Fernando Mendoza's historic season has ended with a national title. The Indiana quarterback didn't have his best statistical game, but he delivered what it mattered as the Hoosiers beat the Hurricanes 27-21 in Miami. He scored the game-winning touchdown, a 12-yard rushing score in the fourth quarter. I'll get to more of my thoughts on the game in a second. How did the spectacle look to you out of Hard Rock Stadium? Hoosiers winning the Natty.
I thought it looked fantastic, Rod. We talk about how TSN does a fantastic job with the World Juniors and the Grey Cup. This is one of ESPN's premier properties, is U.S. college football. ESPN has a Super Bowl, I think, next year, maybe the year after. If what they gave us last night is any indication as to what you're going to see at the Super Bowl with coverage, buckle up, because I thought the production yesterday was fantastic. I started watching about 5 o'clock. Kickoff was about, 6:45. Their pregame show, Scott Van Pelt and crew, Fowler and Herbstreit do such a great job, and it was a great football game that really, if Carson Beck, that throw at the end is maybe a second sooner, he might thread the needle there, and we're talking about Miami winning a football game. But great football game. Bad result for those that had Miami at 22-1 at the start of the season, like this guy. But yeah, that was a good football game and a good way to end the season. And if you're an NFL guy, you've got to take a serious look at Curt Cignetti. I know he says he doesn't want to go to the NFL, but
I was just gonna say that. Okay, so a couple of things. This is awesome, by the way. Carlos in Indiana writes in. He says, this place is buzzing. It's basically the only story today. That and Bob's goalie fight last night. Brent from Wellington, Florida writes in. He says, that kid's run at the end of the game was epic. Very John Elway-esque. That we was talking about Fernando Mendoza, who bounced off the tacklers, turned and dove across the goal line. I don't know who it was. I think it was NCAA or maybe ESPN took a photo of that, posted it to social media, said, hang it in the Louvre. That photo of him sprawling across the goal line will live in infamy forever. And it just happened last night. Here's the one thing. Brent, you can chime in on this, and any of you ballers that are out there. And I'm going to try to get to as many viewer comments. They are popping. Carlos is right. But I'm kind of sitting there going, why is Fernando Mendoza not quarterbacking the Hurricanes? I'm just saying. I'm sure there's a reason. But that game came down to a lot of things last night. But if you just want to look at quarterback play, Carson Beck and Fernando Mendoza are both draft eligible, as you know.
Yep.
Mendoza won the game. I don't care. I know there was turnovers. I know there was special team scores.
I'm going to argue with that.
When the game was on the line, he won them the game.
Yes, they did. But I thought that Indiana took control of that football game with the block punt. And
they still needed the Mendoza score. They needed
the football game with that drive and that fourth down call that Cignetti had, because it was 4th and 5. But I thought Indiana got full control of that game once the blocked punt hit. They gave them a 2-score lead, and it put them in control, which is where Cignetti wanted them.
But if Mendoza doesn't score that touchdown, they lose. Probably.
But do they though, Rod? Because you get a field goal there, and then how does it change going into that final drive?
Yeah, true. But then on the flip side, if Carson Beck doesn't have a brain fart at the most critical time of the game, which is what it looked like it was. So that's all that I'm saying. I don't know the answer to this, and I don't know what Mendoza's NIL deal is. I know what Carson Beck's is. $4 million US. And I'm not saying Carson Beck is bad, but we've had a Mel Kiper sighting. He has popped his head out as we get close to Groundhog's Day, Mitch. I didn't think we'd see another Mel Kiper appearance ever again after last year's draft.
Right.
But he's come out, and he doesn't even have Carson Beck in his top 3. And I'm sitting there going, Beck did engineer upsets in the Cotton Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl, even to get to the national championship. But I'm just saying, Fernando Mendoza, he is all that. I mean, if there was any doubt as to who's the number 1 overall pick, it's Fernando Mendoza, who's a Miami kid, which brings me back to, why is he not quarterbacking the Hurricanes? I need the answer.
Yeah, but you can say that about a lot of guys, Rod. You know, like you take a look at C.J. Carr, the quarterback for Notre Dame. His grandpa, I believe, used to be the head coach of the Wolverines, the Michigan Wolverines. We know what type of rivalry Notre Dame and Michigan have. So, like, why didn't he go to Michigan? There's obviously a reason. He went to... Was he at James Madison? Did he follow Cignetti to James Madison?
Where came from
come
Cal.
From the portal?
California.
Where?
California.
Okay.
Cal.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know the reasons why he went there, and I can't remember who the quarterback of the Hurricanes was before Carson Beck. But, yeah. I thought Carson
it was
Beck
Cam
last
Ward.
night
No.
actually
It was
hurt
Cam Ward. It was Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick
Ward, you're
of
right.
last
So, yeah.
year's draft. So I'm not,
Right.
listen, I'd get crucified in this town if I said it outside these doors. Why is Mendoza not quarterbacking the Hurricanes? Because I haven't heard anybody say that. All I'm saying is he's all that. And the other interesting thing, not that anybody would care, but Baptist Health is the big hospital chain around here. You see their logo everywhere. And apparently Fernando Mendoza's dad is the head of medicine there. Somebody says similar to like Celebrini dad. Oh, yeah. So interesting background. So anyways, the national championship went down last night. Indiana won it, which you said that the Hurricanes would beat the spread, which they did. So I don't know if you had any money on it or not, Mitch, but it was.
Oh, I did, but I had bigger money on Miami winning the whole thing. So, but
and by the way,
at the start of the season.
The other thing, since this is the Canadian hour of the show, and I don't understand, it's clearly an American thing, but the alumni is huge. And you watched that on television last night. I saw an estimate of the fan split was 70-30 Indiana.
Yeah.
In Miami. Right.
Yeah.
So all those people came last minute. I mean, they all paid at minimum $3,900 a ticket. And I've heard that the University of Indiana has the largest alumni of any college in America, which is probably why they all came here for the game. The most famous I saw at the game was Mark Cuban. And we all know the founder of Yahoo, by the way, Mark Cuban, and basically online streaming. If you don't know, look at it. You would know because you're in the business. I'm not sure how many people know that. We're watching streaming thanks to Mark Cuban. And did you see any famous alum? I mean, Michael Irvin is like the most famous.
Yeah,
we all know that.
There were Indiana football is not a marquee sport. At least it wasn't until Curt Cignetti showed up. When you think Indiana, you think basketball. You think Bobby Knight. You think Isaiah Thomas. Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies is the most successful Indiana baseball product. I didn't know Mark Cuban was an Indiana grad until
I always
started
knew that.
The CFP. And the other guy from Indiana that I was surprised wasn't at the game last night is Joe Buck.
Well, that's interesting. By the way, I have in my story here, Vegas Raiders owner Mark Davis and co-owner Tom Brady were in attendance, which I'll get to that. But I'll tell a funny little story in all of this, and we have to break. Well, not yet. I'll get to some stories, but the only reason why I'm so fascinated with Mark Cuban is regards to streaming. You old-time junior hockey fans that are watching this, which I would include you in this, Brent from Wellington, Florida. When I was coming up in the Western Hockey League, the parents used to, from out of town, but we had players on the Prince Albert Raiders that weren't from PA. Their parents would have their billets put the phone up to the radio. Probably happened where you were, Mitch. They would have the phone by the radio for the whole game, and they would pay the long-distance charges to listen to the game. And there was a company that came out around 94, 95 that had a technology to plug your phone into the radio so you didn't have to have somebody answer the phone. In 1994, which was my first season of doing junior hockey, right at that very time, Mark Cuban was inventing streaming audio on the internet as a University of Indiana student, which became Yahoo, and then became how we're all sitting here today. So, yeah. And I guess as we're sitting here, filling time, you jumped out of your seat when I mentioned Al Tour. Al Tour was, for a time, the all-time penalty minute leader of God's team, the Regina Pats. He went on to a pro hockey career, and then he coached the Moose Jaw Warriors. Do you think we had some stories, Mitch, last night in the press box? This guy, he was the coach of the rival Moose Jaw Warriors. Would I be correct in saying that was the peak of Pats Warriors rivalries? Fights in the parking lot, packed arenas, mascots getting beat up. Peak. So when Bobrovsky is taking Nedeljkovic to the woodshed in the brawl, I turned. I said, House, this is happening because you're here. And he smiled like a butcher's dog. He just loved it.
Roddy, here's a question
That's got Al Tour written all over him. What?
Here's a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Al Tour, Stu Grimson. Both two of the toughest SOBs that you would ever want to meet out in the ice. If you put those two at center ice in their heyday, who wins the fight?
They would fight to the death. That's what it would be. They would fight to the death. It's funny because I saw the clip the other day going around. It was the anniversary of Stu Grimson's most famous snap show in Chicago Stadium. It was in 1992. Did you ever see that clip where he was gearless from the down to his skin? Mike Keenan was the coach, and everybody was trying to stop him. He was like a crazed madman, and nobody could stop him because they couldn't grab his jersey. Stu Grimson, the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, I think I do remember that.
I might add, both Regina Pats alum.
How about Al Tour with Norm Johnston?
They're going to kill each other over the plexiglass. Oh, my God. Why can't we have that? Why can't we have that anymore? Which, by the way, for those that joined us late, the poll question is, do you like goalie fights? 89% are saying yes. 11% are not friends of mine, clearly. How can you not? So it was a wild night here in South Florida. And like I say, it's 50-50 talk between the two. Sergei Bobrovsky skating the length of the ice to get in a brawl. Initiate one, really. Which, by the way, Brent from Wellington, Florida, they're making requests on the Cats and Bolts podcast. He hosts that with me. Al Tour knew of the Cats and Bolts podcast. He was not aware of the Rod Pedersen Show. I don't know what to say about that.
Okay. Where is the Dolphins head coach announcement in today's news cycle?
You texted me, and I said, I didn't even write you back. Who? What's his name? Halfley?
Jeff
Listen,
Hafley, Green Bay's defensive coordinator.
I want to get into that after the break. Okay, Glenn in Medicine Hat says Carson Beck playing his 6th year of college football. 6? How common is this? I saw somebody bitching that Chance Petruick of the U of S Huskies hockey team's 27 years old. Who cares? Arlen Bruce writes
the
in.
COVID
He says,
year added a lot to that.
Says, great morning, RP and Scruffy. The game really puts more light on the Big Ten Conference with the Hoosiers win. The sad thing about their win is they still won't be in the top 10 of recruiting. Rob is watching in Windthorst. He says, K9 as a healthy scratch was the icing on the cake of one of the greatest weekends in WHL history. Standing room only at the Agrodome. Those were the days. Ryan in upstate New York says Mendoza was considered a 2-star prospect in high school and was offered the chance to walk on at Miami. He committed to Yale, but then chose Cal. So there you go. We will take a time out. Yeah, we're popping today. Carlos in Indiana is right. It is bumping in the chat section. We'll be right back. We're live on the Game Plus television network.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Well, this has been fun and lively today, which I knew it would be. By the way, when you're looking for strategic communications with impact, Outlaw Communications delivers, led by Tony Plater with 35 years of communication and leadership experience. He specializes in media relations training, leadership coaching, and crisis communication strategy. Visit TonyPlater.com. So we have a lot of viewer questions, but as Mitch was alluding to earlier, we are 30 minutes into the show. We're only at point 3. I have no idea how PTI gets through all their comments, all their topics. We're 30 minutes in, only on point 3. But as Mitch was alluding to earlier, the Miami Dolphins hired former Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley as their head coach Monday. The move ends a swift search for a coach who will be tasked with turning around a losing franchise that hasn't won a playoff game in 25 years. Hafley replaces Mike McDaniel, who was fired earlier this month after going 35-33 in 4 seasons. He will rejoin new Dolphins GM John Eric Sullivan in Miami. The two were together with the Green Bay Packers. So listen, I don't know enough about this guy, Jeff Hafley, to say whether it's a good hire or not. But the Dolphins, I'll say, Mitch, they haven't had success with first-time head coaches. McDaniel, the last one, Brian Flores before that. It's not sexy at all. It's not. What did you think when you saw it?
Considering some of the coaches that are out there, Rod, I was shocked. I didn't like the Robert Saleh to Tennessee announcement yesterday because I don't think that Cam Ward needs a defensive guy to help develop him. I thought Robert Saleh would be a better fit in Miami than Jeff Hafley. When's the last time we saw Jeff Hafley's body of work? Oh, yeah. The Packers were up 18 going into the second half against the Bears. And how did that turn out?
You think Matt LaFleur's going, I'll pack your bags for you. You need a ride to the airport? Yeah. Okay, from the audience, we're dabbling around. It was fine. It's what we do here. NHL, CFL. No CFL today. There's nothing in the news. Maybe there is, but hang on. We're talking about the goalie fights from last night. Sergei Bobrovsky and Alex Nedeljkovic, Sharks, Panthers game. Tony from Cochrane writes, and he says, my favorite goalie fight was Pat Roy, Avalanche, versus Mike Vernon, Red Wings, in 1997 in the famous brawl in Hockeytown. Oh, yeah. They're all good, but yeah, that one was
Chris
very...
Osgood dropped the mitts with in that rivalry? Was it Patrick, too?
Well, all I remember is Roy. I don't remember Detroit's side of it. Oh, by the way, Jeff in Toronto gets us back on track, and he says, LOL, a sub-500 head coach at Boston College. We're talking about Hafley. It's not like he won there at Boston College, but let me just bring this back for a sec. You don't get ESPN's show Get Up on your television up there, do you?
I do, but I don't watch it.
Okay. Well, I laughed today because somewhere over the last week to 10 days, somebody said Bill Belichick, some pundit said Bill Belichick will be applying for every job. I think it was Chris Sims that said that, actually. And this morning across the bottom of the screen, the ticker says, Belichick a fit with the Bills? Jeff Saturday, no. It's like nobody wants Belichick in the league anymore, yet he keeps knocking on all the doors. That's my read.
Does he, though?
Do you read this? I think so. I really do.
I don't know. I'm not sure if he does or not. I don't know if his 24-year-old girlfriend wants him to get back in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's a reason. There's a reason. Well, listen. There's what, you know this because you've been in the media your whole life. There's what we see. There's what they want us to see. And then there's what's really going on. Yep. You know, so I guess you just splash water on my conspiracy theory here. But the narrative is that Bill Belichick is blackballed from the NFL, but maybe he's not, because he did say he's committed to staying at North Carolina. It was a 2-year deal he signed, 25 and 26, and that he'll be back, and he's still back. So I guess I shouldn't believe everything I hear.
No, and I guess I throw it back to what I just said a few minutes ago. You know, Kurt Signetti came out, was it before the national championship game or after the Rose Bowl win, saying I'm not interested in the NFL.
just
many
last
job
week.
openings have we had in the NFL since the Rose Bowl, and nobody's bringing up Curt Cignetti's name? Now, do I think that teams that were looking for a head coach probably picked up the phone and said, so are you serious about that? Or if we throw you X amount of money, stuff like that, are you interested? We don't know if those calls were made, but we're not hearing about Curt Cignetti's name with any openings. At least not that I've heard in the last week to 10 days.
Depends on who you talk to. Jim Barker on this show on Friday brought up Cignetti to Vegas and thought it would be a nice, tidy little package. Let's hire the Indiana coach and his quarterback that we're drafting number 1 overall, Fernando Mendoza. But I was just late last week that Cignetti said he goes, I am a college guy. I am not an NFL guy. So, by the way,
Nick
Perry
Saban
Nye
would say the same thing.
Yeah, well, here's another one. Who the heck? I don't want to drop too many names. It's the danger of being immersed in sports, people, which is great but bad. But I knew somebody I know, his friend worked with Saban at Alabama and said that they couldn't work with him because it's a 20-hour-a-day commitment from him. So you'd better too. So it's like if you're going to work with Nick Saban, and I think Belichick's the same. Listen, I'll say it right now. I don't mind saying it. Chris Jones, legendary for his work ethic, right? From what I hear, he gets into Chapel Hill 5 a.m. in the building, and Belichick's beat him by an hour every day. And Belichick's still there at the end of the night. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. Or at least that's how those guys do it. And I would suggest they've had quite a bit of success. But yeah, Jeff in Toronto says, yes, Belichick is blackballed from the league, I think. It certainly looks that way. It does. Oh, I have a string of notes here. I'm just kind of, some of them I copied down from ESPN I wanted to put to you. Do you think Robert Saleh will turn around the Titans?
No.
That was quick.
Cam Ward needed an offensive-minded guy. So I don't think he will. At least not immediately. Unless they have an OC that can really light things up for him.
I have to apologize. Stefanski went to the Falcons?
Yes.
Browns haven't got a coach yet?
No, they don't.
Okay. Because that's what's next, I guess. Is as we roll to the conference championships, that reminds me. Piss Jug is watching in Saskatoon and says, Scruffy, you should be in Seattle this weekend. You only live once. I'm just passing it along. Do you want to make conference final predictions for the weekend or not? You nailed the Natty last night. Do you want to take a stab at the conference championships in the NFL or no?
Well, as I said yesterday, Rod, I don't know how you can take the Denver Broncos with Jarrett Stidham starting in place of the Bo Nix after the Bo Nix injury. That's going to be tough for for Denver to win that game, even though they're at home. As far as Seattle goes, like I said yesterday, the Rams, this will be their third straight road game. I think Seattle and New England are probably ready to go in the Super Bowl. And God, I only hope that if the game's on the line that you run the ball from the 1-yard line if it's those two teams in the game.
What was Russell Wilson's nickname? Mr. Consistency or Mr. Dependable? What was his nickname?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, he's your quarterback, so maybe I got it wrong. If you don't know Russell Wilson's nickname when he was with the Seahawks, then he didn't have one. But I believe I'd heard somebody say that he was Mr. Consistency or Mr. Dependable or something like that. Maybe I dreamt it. That's entirely possible. But you're picking
Give John Ryan a call. Maybe he can answer you.
Yeah, good point. You're picking a Seattle-New England Super Bowl, which I think that's the odds makers would agree. The Seahawks are favored by 2.5, and the Patriots are favored by 5.5. There is a poll at yahoo.com that said, can Jarrett Stidham lead the Broncos to the Super Bowl? The results of that would be as resoundingly one-sided as this. Do you like goalie fights? Over 90% will say yes, if not more, or no, he cannot lead the Denver Broncos. But we'll all be tuned in. Mitchell, thanks for this. Huddle up and stay warm, and happy DJ Day. Happy National DJ Day. Hug your favorite DJ today. Mitchell?
Okay. Have a great day, Rod.
I plan on it. I already am. Bye, Scruffy. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Okay. Something's going to continue on this program, and it will always continue on this program as long as I draw a breath, and that is having fun on the air for at least 2 hours out of the day. Because I'll say this, I opened up my Twitter like an idiot this morning, and first two things I saw was somebody calling somebody a clown, somebody calling somebody else a moron. Not a good way to start the day. And I was saying to, just before the break there with Scruffy, I said it's National DJ Day. And my favorite all-time DJ was calling, Perry Nias, who's also my best friend. He didn't even know that it was National DJ Day. So I called him back in the break and wished him such. And I'll ask you this, you people. On this National DJ Day, who's your favorite disc jockey of all time? And as a career radio guy that I am as myself, I've got a list. Perry's number one. He's my best friend. But how could I not throw one to our guy, Ryan O'Media, down at WQVZ, that carries our show? in the U.S. South. He hosts the Radio Penitentiary every morning. It's far more fun than it sounds. Ryan O'Radio, Ryan O'Neill, his real name. But you think of all these DJs. Rick D's Sleaze. For the older ladies, Dick Clark, America's oldest teenager. More so Casey Kasem. How about that? How about Casey Kasem? In my adopted Canadian second home of Moose Jaw, Rob Carney on 800 CHAB. Oh, they love him. They love Carnes and Moose Jaw. Who's your favorite DJ? Which reminds me, where the heck is it? I was mentioning earlier Drew Remenda. Oh, man. Drew Remenda and I covered a lot of ground in a very brief time last night in the press box. He is the color commentator for the San Jose Sharks on TV. Sorry, my phone's blowing up now. I should have put it on Do Not Disturb. That's on me. It's on me. Everybody's texting me now on the personal line. But anyways, Darcy writes in from Grand Prairie, Alberta, and he says, the Drew Remenda show on 650 CKOM radio used to be must listen for me back in the day. It's odd because Drew and I largely, I guess you would say, we're competitors, but we never thought of it that way for a second. I mean, our shows were on against each other at the same time, but I never looked at it that way. It's just the way that I look at things. We're two guys trying to do a job and do the best that we can. He's gone on to do great things, and I'd like to think that we've gone on to do great things. But he's not a DJ. He's a sports guy. And I'll just say, of one of the things we covered last night, I was like, oh, Drew, you're looking sharp, man. Who's clothing you down there in San Jose? And he goes, Caswell's, Saskatoon. I'm like, oh, they pop. Just like Colin O'Brien's in Regina. Anyways, who is your favorite DJ? Let us know here on either the YouTube chat or 902-518-3033. Oh, by the way, thank you, Ryan, in upstate New York. He writes in and he says, Russell Wilson gave himself the nickname Mr. Unlimited. Oi. Okay, that's what I thought. And what did I say? Mr. Dependable or Mr. Consistency? Mr. Unlimited. Okay. You can't give yourself a nickname. Oh, and by the way, we got some good stuff. Listen, I feel like I need to have categories because Jeff in Toronto says Howard Stern, the OG shock jock. Stern's up here. Greatest radio personality of all time. Even my favorite DJ, Perry Nias, would agree with that and defer to Howard. Bill in the Queen City writes in and says, Wolfman Jack. That's cool if that's who you feel is your... I was kind of thinking in your own local market. That's what I was thinking, but, you know. Kevin the Medium checking in from frigid cold, his new studio in Maple Creek, Saskatchewan. He says, Larry and Willie from Seafox, 99.3 in the 90s out of Vancouver. Okay, I know. I asked for it on this National DJ Day. Who is your favorite DJ? So, yeah, I'll read them to the top of the hour and maybe into hour two. We'll see. The Junior Hockey Report, we do it every day for the Mad Greek Eatery and Moose Jaw. Prince Albert Raiders defenseman and 2026 NHL draft-eligible prospect Daxon Rudolph has been named WHL Player of the Week. Rudolph, a 17-year-old from Lacombe, Alberta, registered 6 points and a +3 rating in 3 games as the Raiders went 3-0 this past week. And Spokane Chiefs netminder Carter Esler's been named WHL Goalie of the Week. The 17-year-old Esler from Okotoks, Alberta, went 1-0 with a 0.00 goals against average, 1.000 save percentage, and 1 shutout this past week. The the Junior Hockey Update is brought to you by Mad Greek Eatery. Whether it's pizza, ribs, or authentic Greek favorites, make it the Mad Greek Eatery tonight. Open until 11 p.m. Order online, pick up, or dine in at themadgreekeatery.com. I feel like I could say anything sports related right now, and you would all be happy because there's just so much going on in the comment section and everywhere else. I was asking about the Browns head coaching situation, and, you know, this concerns me a little for Cleveland fans. Tony from Cochrane, who's our resident Browns fan. He says the Browns are on their second interviews for head coach, about 5 of them, and Mike McDaniel is one of them. Again, there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, and now that Moose is gone, we can actually say that. When Moose owned this show and was the boss, he's like, can you not say that? That's offensive. To who? It's more than one way to skin a cat, and I think that if you want to coach, go get him. That's what the Patriots did with Mike Vrabel. That seems to be working out okay. I mean, again, I don't like the pomp and the circumstance and telling everybody who their interview candidates are. I've never understood that, but that's kind of the way football works. I get that. And there are winning programs that do that as well. I don't know where Rob in Las Vegas is. He must have had a busy week, but I just remember when they hired Pete Carroll with the Raiders, and you all watch this every day. Do you remember Rob writing in going, what's the succession plan in Vegas? I don't think there is one. And clearly there isn't. And we're getting reports out of Arizona, too. Let's not forget Arizona's looking for a head coach. And what they're saying in Arizona is nobody wants to coach the Cardinals. I kind of find that very hard to believe. I find that extremely hard to believe, actually. But that's the narrative that some people are trying to push out there. Who's your favorite DJ? Robin Winthorst writes in. He says, Fred King, Willie Cole in the flea market. Was always on our radio growing up. The old man from the mountain. I remember it well. Colt writes in, he says, I wonder if my Vikings will let go of our defensive coordinator, Brian Flores. Oh, he's gone. I saw he was in. How do people keep it all straight? I know he interviewed in Vegas. I think he interviewed in Tennessee. Flores is gone. The question is where. I can't imagine that he doesn't interview well. Nah, he's gone. Start hiring a new defensive coordinator in Minnesota. 902-518-3033 is the text line for our friends at Western Dodge. Who's your favorite DJ? Oh, Kelly writes in and says, did you need to send a wheelbarrow for Kevin's poker winnings on the week? Good day, guys. He's talking about Kevin the Medium that was in the World Series of Poker tournament last week. He's like the guy that went to Vegas in a $30,000 car and came home in a $500,000 bus. You know what I mean? He wasn't bringing home no wheelbarrow full of money. Kirk writes in from Toronto. He's watching on Game Plus television. He says, hey, Rod, the polar vortex is settling in southern Ontario just in time for the Leafs' annual outdoor practice this Monday with temps in the minus 20s to 30s with the wind chill. Brrr. Don't miss that. Nope. Jeff in Toronto says, I wouldn't mind seeing Flores in Buffalo. I'm getting such a bang out of just the Belichick talk. And I don't know why I'm getting so entertained by it. Do you think Belichick would be a fit with the Bills? No, says Jeff Saturday. It's a thing. I mean, I don't look down on anybody, but I look at these coaches that are coaching into their 70s like a Pete Carroll, like Belichick, thinking, guys, wouldn't you want to retire? But then I think of two things pop into my mind. Number one, Ken Miller with Saskatchewan, his wife, Maureen, said Kenny would like to die on the sidelines if he could. And I'll probably die on the air. Could happen next hour or it could happen in 30 years from now. But this is what I do. It's what they do. So let's not judge. Sports update. There are 8 games in the NHL tonight with 4 Canadian teams in action. The Edmonton Oilers are aiming for their 3rd win in a row when they welcome New Jersey. And Kevin Carey is from Edmonton Sports Radio 1440. He'll be on the air with us tomorrow to talk hockey. Jared Dumba next hour to talk hockey. The Montreal Canadiens will be looking for their 2nd straight win when they entertain the surging Minnesota Wild. The Blues visit the Jets, and the Columbus Blue Jackets host the Ottawa Senators. If you have any questions or comments hockey-related for Jared, please fire them my way now, 902-518-3033. I feel like I could wrap up this sports update with baseball, but I think I'm going to save it and move it into our baseball point next hour. when we go to air across Nevada. But I can tell you the sports update is brought to you by the Ultimate Fan Zone. If you're looking for the hottest fan gear, it's where I get most of mine. Swing by Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca, where real fans get their gear. So it's the usual gamut. NHL, NFL, a lot of college, because the college season just ended last night. I'm sure that's making some of you melancholy. But a lot of NHL talk with Jared Dumba coming up. We will be right back on Game Plus Television and WQVC Radio.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Sports talk with a twist. You found it. It's the RP Show, welcoming viewers across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, and saying hello again to our viewers across Canada and 32 other U.S. states. I think it might be 33 states now, actually, after last night, on the Game Plus Television Network, and a variety of other tremendous platforms like streaming live on YouTube, podcast, and WQVZ Radio. The San Jose Sharks rolled through South Florida last night, which I'm going to get to here in our Quick Six show topics. But Drew Remenda, my longtime friend and color commentator of the Sharks, says, say hey to Scruffy. And I said, oh, you know Scruffy's on the show? They used to work together 100 years ago. And he said, oh, I watch you guys in San Jose. What? No, you're on Game Plus, right? Yeah. Yes, we are, Drew. Thanks. And I passed it along to Scruffy, and it was all great. So California, well, I'm hearing from LA viewers. I'm hearing from San Jose viewers. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with producer Corey's connection. I'm not sure. All I can tell you is welcome. Make yourself comfortable. You're at home here. We don't take ourselves too seriously, clearly. Jared Dumba coming up in the next segment as our NHL analyst to talk NHL hockey from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family. And then we can open with hockey, even though there's a hell of a lot of football going on. But that's kind of what makes our show a little different. And here's the twist. As we open the Nevada Hour, Travis Konechny scored twice for his first multi-goal game this season. And Philadelphia defeated the Vegas Golden Knights 2-1 on Martin Luther King Day. Philadelphia stopped a 6-game slide, and it snapped the Golden Knights' 7-game win streak. Thomas Hertl scored a power play goal for Vegas late in the second, and Adin Hill turned aside 15 shots in the victory. And I was having this chat last night with a hockey man. I don't mind telling you his name, Peter Micheludi. His friends and family all watch the show in Sudbury, he tells me, but he doesn't have it on his TV. Anyways, we were together in Sunrise last night talking about these close, not just close NHL games, but unpredictable NHL games. Like my picks last night, I went 5 of 10. Not like it's passing, but it's not making you any money. But, I mean, that was a game where Vegas went in. They won 7 in a row. And I saw this stat that the Flyers had been blown out by 3 or more goals in 5 straight. If that wasn't leading up to a Vegas victory, then I don't know what the hell was. No. Travis Konechny had other ideas, and Philly won in Vegas last night, part of a 10-game slate. In Toronto, I'll spend more time on this with Jared when he comes up in the next segment because he's a Leafs fan, but Marcus Foligno scored 3 times. Quentin Hughes had a pair of assists, and the visiting Minnesota Wild beat the Maple Leafs 6-3, which is there a team? You tell me if there's a team in hockey that is more hot and cold than the Toronto Maple Leafs, or is it just their fans that's making us believe that? I mean, on Monday, Monday we had Jim Lang on here saying the Leafs seem to have turned a corner. And in December, it was really hot in this town. But now everybody's turned on to the Leafs. And then they get spanked by Minnesota last night. But a hockey man I was talking to this morning on the phone watched that game, and he said Quinn Hughes controlled the whole game from the back end for Minnesota. Can anybody confirm or deny? Because I wasn't watching that game. I was watching this one. Will Smith scored in his 2nd consecutive game after missing a month due to injury, and the visiting San Jose Sharks spoiled Matthew Tkachuk's season debut by defeating the Florida Panthers 4-1 here in Sunrise. I'll tell you today, the talk is split around here, 50-50 between 2 things. One is Florida goalie Sergei Bobrovsky battling San Jose goalie Alex Nedeljkovic with 14 minutes to go in the 3rd period. There was a little scrum going on in the corner. I'm watching that, and Peter Micheludi starts elbowing me. He's like, here comes the goalie. Here comes Bob. I'm like, what? He's racing 200 feet to get involved in the melee, the fracas, and I'm fumbling for my phone, and thank God I got it all on video because that doesn't happen very often. As a matter of fact, if it's true, and I appreciate the fact checker who wrote in here, they said the last goalie fight in the NHL was 2021, Mike Smith and Cam Talbot, and I quoted somebody by saying it was pre-COVID that had happened. Somebody said, no, it was 2021. Either way, it doesn't happen very often, and that's our poll question. Do you like goalie fights? The first poll reporting, 89% of respondents for EMJ Marketing said yes, they do. This next poll result that I saw, it's down to 70% likes goalie fights. How can you not? But I feel like, again, maybe I dreamt it, but that Jordan Bennington was in a fight for the St. Louis Blues, their goalie here, since 2021. Anyways, okay. Jeff in Toronto has confirmed the Leafs are the most inconsistent team in the NHL for years. Oh, okay. It's not just this year. All right. I mean, you go into Colorado and snap their 17-game home win streak, then you come home and get motorboated by the Minnesota Wild, who I understand are a good team, but with the real Leafs, please stand up. It's National DJ Day. So thank your favorite and local DJ. I was one. That was my first job in this perilous trade. That's right, being a country music DJ. My favorite DJ is Perry Nias of the Nias Country Drive. Just talked to him last hour. But I'm asking the viewers, who is your favorite DJ? Just to have some fun. You want to go back? Casey Kasem or Rick Dees? Howard Stern? Howard? On the national scale or in your local market? Glenn from Medicine Hat writes in. He says, DJs? Wally Stambuck and Denny Carr. Wall and Den morning show on CFQC radio in Saskatoon. Okay. Colt writes in, he says, my favorite DJ was my uncle on my mom's side, Mr. Ron Stryker, from our rock radio station 103.9 The Bear from South Bend, Indiana. I need Rick Reagan around to say, how about that? Who is also, by the way, a DJ. Who's your favorite DJ on National DJ Day? Let's throw them a bouquet. This is going fast, but that's okay. Time flies when you're having fun. Our NFL picks are brought to you by Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. And as their manager, Cool Kevin Smith, says, we're a sports bar. Great place to go watch 6 hours of NFL Conference Championship football this upcoming Sunday. But first, before we're to the NFL, point 2. Fernando Mendoza's historic season has ended with a national title. The Indiana quarterback didn't have his best statistical game Monday night, but he delivered when it mattered as the Hoosiers beat the Miami Hurricanes 27-21 in Hard Rock Stadium. In the fourth quarter, Mendoza led a crucial 12-play, 75-yard drive, converting 2 fourth downs, including a 12-yard rushing touchdown. Coach Kurt Signetti said the play was specifically designed for this game. Mendoza's performance helped Indiana secure its first national title. Raiders owner Mark Davis and co-owner Tom Brady were in attendance. So when I said 50% of this town's talking about Sergei Bobrovsky's goalie fight, they are. The other 50% are talking about Fernando Mendoza, the Miami kid, leading his Hoosiers to the huge victory in Miami and the quarterback play. And oh my God, we had a lot of football talk yesterday, and Fridays are dedicated to it. There's going to be a lot of hockey today. But what I will say about this game last night, it's just fun to debate. It's not fun when people want to argue and fight over these things. Like I said to Scruffy last hour that Mendoza won the Hoosiers the game with the 12-yard rushing touchdown in the fourth quarter. And he's like, no. The block punt recovery touchdown secured it. I'm like, wow, they don't win the game without Mendoza's touchdown. And the way that he scored the touchdown. You're all watching, were you not? Pinballing off would-be tacklers, as they say, sprawling across the goal line. That's Heisman-esque as the Heisman Trophy winner. And I guess we did put one thing to bed here today. I was asking somewhat rhetorically, why is Fernando Mendoza not quarterback in the Miami Hurricanes? He's from here. Like, there's got to be a reason. And was it Ryan in upstate New York wrote in and said he had the opportunity to be a walk-on. And then, careers, like I know it's not a fair question, but I can't be the only one wondering. This guy's a hero. He's going to go number 1 overall in the NFL draft. He's from here. But he committed to Indiana after 2 years at Cal. The Hurricanes were clearly happy with their guy. I mean, you watch the game. Carson Beck had a brain cramp in the final minute. Throws a game-ending interception, but he got the Hurricanes to the national championship with upset wins in the Cotton Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. So it was just a hell of a game. Odd, too, in a way, 70% of the crowd in Miami was Indiana fans. As my boy Willie Jefferson says, how that? That's just Hoosier fans for you. It was loud in there. The celebrities on hand were unbelievable. It was the Super Bowl of college football. And 2 days have gone by, and I forgot to ask Scruffy. I'll ask you folks this. Might be a good football Friday poll. Should the college football playoff expand from 12 teams to 16? I feel that would be a nice number that would make a lot more people more happy. Let's remember, it wasn't that long ago. It was only 4. It was only 4 teams. Now it's up to 12. That seems to be working fine unless you're Notre Dame or last year Alabama. I wanted to ask Scruffy that because Michigan didn't make the top 12 this year. They probably would have if they're putting in 16. Oh, boy. Okay, Jeff in Toronto, you want to open that can of worms? He writes that he says, unpopular opinion, but NIL and transfer portal have made college football so much better. Perspective thing here, but if you really paid attention to our interview last week with Tori Gurley, who is working as an advisor for high school and college athletes, primarily top-end, highly recruited football players going into college, the money isn't there for the kids unless you're, a blue chip prospect coming out, because the big money is going to the 4th, 5th, and in the case of Carson Beck, 6-year guys. So again, you just made it better. Nobody saw Indiana coming. They weren't in the top 12 rankings at the start of the year, so that's cool. Has it made college football better? I haven't heard too many people say that. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, hey, Jeff, good to see you. You've been quiet today. He says 12 teams are good. Well, Jeff says the number 1 ranked team won it all, so they might as well go back to no playoff format again. But they weren't number 1 at the start of the year. Texas was. So that's how things change. Pardon me. I'm not going to ask Jared Dumba that when he joins us in the next segment because he's a hockey guy. Mind you, he played pro hockey in Oklahoma. I call him the Tulsa King. He might have some thoughts on that. This segment is going to slip away if I don't get to the NFL here. In point 3 of the Quick Six show topics, the Miami Dolphins hired former Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley as their head coach Monday. Talk about burying the lead. You know the national championship's being played in your backyard that night, right? And Sergei Bobrovsky's going to get in his first ever fight in your backyard, but the Dolphins want to announce their new head coach. Jeff Hafley. I got the text and I said, who? Not his fault, mine. But again, who? The move ends a swift search for a coach who will be tasked with turning around a losing franchise that hasn't won a playoff game in 25 years. Hafley replaces Mike McDaniel, who was fired earlier this month after going 35-33 in 4 seasons. He will rejoin new Dolphins GM John Eric Sullivan here in Miami. So let's just say Dolphins fans and football people here had their hearts set on other people. I never heard Jeff Hafley's name come up at all. And they have not had success with guys, first-time head coaches. Fired the last 2, Mike McDaniel and Brian Flores. So, and they don't have a quarterback. You know, we had that poll question last week. 2 weeks ago? What was the most desirable NFL head coaching opening? I'm starting to think a good poll question would be, what's the least desirable head coach opening in the NFL? That would be a far closer race, I think. Sorry to say, Vegas Raiders. Sorry. Arizona, where the narrative coming out of the Valley of the Sun this morning is that nobody wants that job. Cleveland. Sorry to say, Tony, the resident Browns fan. Cleveland doesn't rock. Vegas, Arizona, Cleveland, or other would be good. Tennessee closed today with Robert Saleh going there. If anybody can turn them around, it's him, but I don't think he will. And while we're rolling here and still going just before the break, who is your favorite DJ? As we observe on National DJ Day across Canada and the USA, Tony writes in from Cochrane, says CJ92's Jerry Forbes and his guest, the champ. Pardon? I'm not going to read any more than that. It's me, the champ. Yeah, Brother Jake. Some great radio days. If you got hockey questions, get them in now. 902-518-3033 on the Western Dodge text line. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Visit their showroom or go online at westerndodge.ca. Kirk from Toronto says, hey, Rod, reported by TSN, the last goalie fight was 2019. That's what I heard. I heard that. But we've got fact checkers here that said, no, it was 2021. Mike Smith, Cam Talbot. Will TSN be wrong for the first time ever? We'll be right back. You're watching on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Game Plus TV and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and WQVC Radio. In your mind, play the theme song Tulsa Time by Don Williams, because we have the Tulsa King with us, the original Tulsa King, joining us, Jared Dumba from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family, where college football is king. Is it king in Oklahoma, I would think, Jared, or is it NBA now?
Oh, yeah.
With Thunder there? It's college?
Yeah, college football reigns supreme everywhere. I think high school football might even be more popular than the NBA in Oklahoma. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
All right. Well, he played around the U.S. in pro hockey, but he's with us today. Jared Demba, the Tulsa King, is our NHL analyst. And I looked it up in the break. Everybody's still talking. Two things they're talking about here in South Florida today. Last night's National College Football Championship game won by Indiana, and Sergei Bobrovsky's goalie fight against Alex Nedeljkovic. I've looked it up, everybody. The last fight was 2020. Mike Smith and Cam Talbot. These things are rare. Jared, what was your take on what went down here in Sunrise? Bob's first career fight, by the way.
I thought it was absolutely awesome to see the guys go and see Bob going at it. You know, a guy with that type of stature in the league. Everybody loves a good goalie fight, and you know nobody seems to get hurt in the goalie fights. It's a little tougher to throw. If you've ever put the goalie gear on, we've all done it. Put the goalie gear on and try and fight just to see what it's like. You can barely even move, so you know nobody's getting hurt. It's a lot of fun to watch. And nobody's getting hurt in a goalie fight unless you're fighting Ray Emery, the late great Ray Emery. He used to fight forwards and win. I've never seen
former Ottawa
like
Senators, goaltender for sure. How many fights were you in your career? As I recall, you were a skater finesse type, but you must have dropped the mittens at some point.
Yeah, I was anywhere from 2 to 5 a year. I think 5 was I wasn't a big fighter. I was usually playing with the top player on the team and being a setup man, or some years the goal scorer, some years the setup man, and that was kind of what I prided myself in. I didn't really fight. We had 3. Every team I ever played on in pro at that time had at least 3, sometimes 4 or 5, 6 guys that fought all the time. I'm talking 12 to 20 fights a year. Type of thing. So yeah, I mean, I think my most one year was 5 fights, and lowest would have been 2 fights probably.
The Tulsa King is with us, pro hockey alum Jared Demba. I'm gonna throw you and I didn't send a list of topics back and forth. We usually do, but I think we can handle it. We've had a few conversations over the years. Yeah.
Fine.
Of all the teams out of a playoff spot, I guess there would be 16. Right? Out. Who has a chance to turn their season around, especially of those? Like Vancouver can't, I don't think. And Calgary's not, right? They're taking offers on the Blake Colemans and the Nazem Kadris. But can the Winnipeg Jets, the Leafs, these teams that have underachieved, let's say, which one has the best chance of really turning it around in the second half?
Well, I think the Jets are going to turn it around here. We're starting to see that a little bit with Taves starting to play like you and I thought he would when we chatted in the first half of the year. He's starting to get his feet under him now, play a lot better. You got Hellebuck back. I think Winnipeg. They're out of it now, but they can. They've got the team obviously winning the President's Trophy last year. They got the team that could put together 10 in a row. 11 in a row. You never know what they do. They got a good chance. I think the Leafs will get in. I think the Panthers,
really?
As Tkachuk comes back, I think Tkachuk, he's going to spark them. You add a player like that, and it just gets everybody going in the room. I think the Panthers have a great shot, especially, they're a little bit tired out in the first half of the year after getting to the Cup final 3 times in a row and winning 2 of them. But I would never count the Panthers out. They get Tkachuk back now, see what they do at the deadline. I think a lot of it's going to depend on what people do at the deadline, and do you happen to bring in the right guy that fits in the mix, fits in the room. There'll be a lot depending on that as we go down the stretch here, because I've never seen a season that's this close and that's had this many teams fall off the side of the planet and then all of a sudden come back and put together strings of look at Buffalo. What have they won? 12 of 15. Are they 12-2-1 I think in their last 15? It's been such an interesting season. It just shows the parity of the league and what a great job that the NHL's done.
Statistically, it has been the closest year for parity, closest games, which comes with it upsets. I'm sure the betting windows love it. By the way, from the audience, John in Winnipeg says, the Jets, yes, turn it 180. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says that blocker could do some damage. Oh, yeah, it is a weapon. I'm surprised that it has not been designated as such by the courts, the blocker in a goalie fight. I was standing beside Paul Maurice last night, and I got to go back and listen to the tape for the quote, but he said something along the lines of, we're in trouble. They're only 4 points out of a playoff spot, Jared, with a little less than half a season to go. But I do think that people that weren't worried might be getting a little worried in terms of coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, who should be the most worried?
Out of all the coaches right now? Oh, that's that's a tough question just because of the parity that's going on. Beginning of the season, you might have said Nashville Predators, it's such a tough, maybe you look towards St. Louis right now. It doesn't seem like anybody's really too many teams are wanting to fire their coaches this year. Usually you see a couple in the first half of the year, and then you see a few more before the trade deadline type thing, to give guys a chance to get in the end of the season. But I don't know, if you're looking for a team to fire the coach, I'd probably say have a look towards St. Louis's way, even though I know he just got in there. He's a great coach, but it's you'd think when you did that, what you did last year with basically the same team, and the way it's going this year, don't be surprised if it's St. Louis. Other than that, there's not a lot of guys that I would think are too much on the hot seat just because of the parity.
No, and to be honest, I had Tim Hunter here on the other day, and I said, we didn't see the move coming in Columbus. And he's like, well, they're last place. So if you didn't see that coming, you must be blind. But that's the only coach firing was Dean Evison for Rick Bowness. And beyond that, I'm with you. I can't see anybody else getting toasted. But I'm wondering, with your hockey people that you chat with, how much are you paying attention to the New York Rangers? Like, they're not going to fire Mike Sullivan. I don't think. They just hired him. But Chris Drury, the GM, clearly is Teflon, and they're just a disaster. What do you see out of the New York Rangers?
I don't get it. I've been actually following that quite close, and since the stuff happened last year with the stuff leaking out of the room, I've changed my opinion on Drury. I thought he was doing a good job, and now just the way that that stuff, I think we chatted about it last year, that stuff really gets in the locker room and really gets guys walking on eggshells. It makes them lose trust in their GM. Makes you lose trust in the guys around the team a little bit. You start wondering, who's talking behind whose back, and it just kind of seems like a mess. I'm surprised he's still there. Do you see the letter that he put out a couple of days ago, talking about the rebuild? Now, I'm not sure if he knows he's going to be there or if he's trying to get out front of something, if he's worried about his job. But if I'm pulling the strings there in New York, Drury, unfortunately, I hate to say call for guys' jobs, but Drury would be the first one to go, just based alone on everything he did last year.
Our hockey analyst, Jared Dumb, is with us. And so they are expecting, everybody says Artemi Panarin is going to be moved by the Rangers. The question is to where. I'm going to give you a little homework assignment here, because I don't assume he's going to be moved before the Olympics. Not that he would be playing in them, because he's Russian and Russia's not allowed to go. But a few people that I trust a lot think he's going to go to Vegas. And for decades, we've seen Kelly McCrimmon always gets his guy. We saw it in Brandon. We see it now in Vegas. Thomas Hertel, Noah Hannafin, Rasmus Anderson, Jack Eichel. You name it. How does he keep doing it? How could they possibly get Artemi Panarin? Yet I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Well, I don't see that happening, just because I think McCrimmon's too smart of a businessman. I think he's going to find out. He's going to do some digging and find out what Panarin wants. And I think what Panarin wants is in that $13-14 million range. He knows the cap's going up. I don't know if he's going to get what he wants, unless he just wants to go to Vegas that bad. I think the more likely scenario is that we see Panarin land in a place like Los Angeles, maybe. LA could really use a scoring type, and we know that Panarin likes the bright lights in the big cities. So I could see somewhere like LA. I would think that Carolina would be very interested in him. Now, I don't know if he's going to want to go to a place like Carolina, just because, the word's been out for a while that that's why he wanted New York. He didn't want to be in a smaller place like Columbus. He wants the bright lights and the big city feel. So, but I think the best fit for him would be Carolina, but I'd expect him to go somewhere like Los Angeles.
Well, and that's remember too. Vegas would only be acquiring him on a rental for the rest of the season. right? So that they could get
Yeah,
the
that's
Rangers
true.
to keep half his contract. Yeah. And maybe that's why people are expecting that he would end up there. Wayne in Victoria writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, I think Jared has it right. At least I hope he's right when it comes to the Canadian teams, Winnipeg and Toronto. I always cheer for the Canadian teams. Let's not forget, like a month ago, there wasn't one Canadian team in a playoff spot in the Western Conference. But that's changed because Edmonton's in there, but they're the only one. But I'll say this. I know you watch more hockey than probably anybody I know. You've probably been on this San Jose train for a while. I just saw them last night. Number one, wow. They're very young.
They're good.
And number two, and Montreal is better, but not by a lot. So get ready for Montreal and San Jose to be prominent for a long time, I think.
Oh yeah, Montreal. We see what they're doing there, and they've got. Now the guy's name is slipping my mind. Young Russian kid playing in the KHL. He's putting up bigger numbers than what Demidov did last year. Was it Guryanov? Maybe. I might be switching up
You got
them in
me.
Chicago, but they've got some. They've got some great players that are still coming up. Montreal's going to be good forever, and so same thing with San Jose. That's that's already looking like a good team. They made some great moves. I've been saying it all year. When you do the whole Celebrini and Bedard comparison, Celebrini's surrounded by a much better team. Even though he's in on almost 50% of the goals, you look at their team, you look at what they've done there, bringing in Askarov, and even last night, Celebrini doesn't get a point. They win 4-1. They've got a great team there. And I think you're right, Rod. Those are going to be two teams that we're going to be watching. 10 years from now, people are going to be sick of them because they're going to be pushing for the cup every single year and they're going to be hoping somebody else gets in.
Yeah, that's what I see. The thing with Celebrini, I was not overly impressed. And of course, I'm always going to look at him through the Bedard goggles. So he'll never measure up to me, to Connor Bedard. But last night, you just said it. He was pointless. He was around the net, but he didn't find the score sheet. He's a great player. But who do you think, I guess in the end, they'll both have tremendous NHL careers. How would you even say who had the better career? If it ends up being a Sid Ovi competition, that's two pretty good careers. How would you pick between Sid and Ovi?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I say too. When people say, well, who's better, Bedard or Celebrini? I say, who cares? We get to watch these guys for the next 20 years, maybe 20 plus with today's medicine and all the new age stuff we got going on. But right now, Celebrini's definitely surrounded by the better team. He's got better line mates. They're very, very close. Celebrini might be a touch better defensively, but Bedard's way better. He's more creative offensively. But again, it's very, very close. Who cares?
You know who cares? Hockey Canada.
Yeah, that's true.
When they had to name a roster. So in the end, we'll see if Bedard ends up making the roster because Celebrini's already been invited. By the way, we have somebody watching in Minnesota who wants to take umbrage with your Panarin wants the bright lights. Guy by the name of Dave Faulkner.
Oh,
remember
Davey.
Falky? He's watching on Game Plus TV. He writes in on the text line 902-518-3033. He says, hey, Jared, you knucklehead, there's no bright lights in Vegas? You ever thought about that?
Yeah. No, there's bright lights there. But what I was saying was I don't think he's going to fit in with what Vegas has. I think it would be easier to slide into in LA. And he would have to take, McCrimmon's not bringing anybody in and giving him top dollar. That's for sure. Unless it's just a short-term rental for just this year. I don't think that's what Panarin's looking for. That's just my call. But obviously there's not a lot of places that have more lights than Vegas. That's for sure. We've all been there.
Yeah, speaking of you're right. I sort of remember coming home. Speaking of Minnesota, did you watch the Leafs Wild game last night?
Yeah, I caught most of it. I had some stuff going on, but I caught the end. It was already out of control by the time I caught it, and it was the Leafs seem to do that every now and then. I don't know. I think it's part of the media, just having so much media around and you hear every single thing that's going on. Minnesota hasn't they haven't been at the top of their game for the last little while. I think, and Toronto's been playing so well. I think they went into the game, just from the parts I saw. I think they might have come into the game thinking, "Oh, this one's going to be. We're just going to walk over this game." Minnesota, even though they've thrown a couple wins lately, they haven't been at the top of their game. I think that they might have taken that one a little bit lightly, but Minnesota. They look good. They're dangerous. They're one of the teams that I say look out in the playoffs, especially if they make another addition of some sort. They got a really good squad there. Matt Boldy, one of my new favorite players in the league. He's just phenomenal to watch. And then obviously the $17 million man Kaprizov.
Yeah, he had a couple of assists too. And I talked to a hockey guy this morning who watched that game. I did not, because I was watching Bob getting his fights here. And he said Quinn Hughes ran the whole game. And I think we all know. Yeah, tell me what you saw from Quinn Hughes last night.
He just he gets in those modes where it's like he can see everything that's going on all around him for the whole night. It seems like he's just floating around on the ice. It seems like he doesn't even have to take a stride, kind of like Mike Modano used to do, where you're just flying around, and the way he stops and starts, and the way he finds seams, and the way he sneaks in behind guys, he's just incredible. And he was on fire last night. He was by far the best player. He was the best player in the league last night. Not the best player in that game. He was unbelievable to watch.
Hey, do you watch Tampa Bay much?
When they're on, yep.
Okay, so they've won 12 of 13, and I've got a lot of people asking. Yeah, with 2 minutes, I got people asking me, how are they doing it? Help me look smart, Jared. How are they doing it? What should I tell people when they say, how's Tampa Bay winning all these games?
Well, you got one of the best goaltenders in the world. You've got really solid defense. But I mean, look at Kucherov. He, as usual, he starts a little bit slow. Now he comes on. Kucherov's just all over the puck. Last game he could have had a couple more goals easy. He's one of the best players, one of the top 3-4 players in the league again right now. And then you've got Gensel. You've got Hagel. Hagel, in my opinion, is the best left winger in the entire National Hockey League. And that's not he's not on the national team. He's not on the Olympic team just because his coach is the coach. He's the best left winger in the league. I just love his game. You got guys like that. You got guys like Cirelli. Any other team, you got McDavid on the ice, throw out Cirelli. You got McKinnon, you can throw Cirelli. You can play against absolutely anybody. You've got a lot of different tools in the toolkit, and you got maybe the best coach in the world as well. So to me, it's no secret why they're winning. They got a phenomenal team, phenomenal coach, phenomenal GM.
You just summed that up very nicely in like 45 seconds. Jared, they're going to start calling you a broadcaster soon, not just a hockey guy. And how about that? We're out of time. I was going to say we're out of time, and we somehow magically found stuff to talk about, Jared. How about that?
That's weird. Yeah, we could do this for 2 days, Roddy.
Okay, enjoy the hockey. We'll do it again soon. Thank you, Jared. Thanks for the time.
All right, brother. Have a great day.
The Tulsa King, Jared Dumba, from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family. When we come back, we've got a sports update, and then whatever you all would like to discuss the rest of the way on Viewer Takeover. The lines are open to text 902-518-3033 or the YouTube chat. We'll be right back after this.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is you and me for the next 18 minutes to the top of the hour. So I can sit here and read these sports updates if you want. A lot of people like that. I'd rather go back and forth with you. And I haven't made my NHL picks yet for the night. Hopefully they're a little better than last night, 5 of 10. But anyways, 902-518-3033 is the text line to reach us here on anything we've been talking about today. A lot of NHL talk with Jared Dumba, obviously. And football talk as well, because it was a very big night last night in college football, the Super Bowl of college football, which we'll get to in a second. But baseball news, catcher JT Realmuto and the Philadelphia Phillies have finalized a 3-year, $45 million deal. Realmuto will earn $15 million annually and can receive up to $5 million in bonuses each year. He made his decision a month after designated hitter Kyle Schwarber agreed to a $150 million 5-year deal with the Phillies. I had another baseball note here with regards to the Hall of Fame. Here it is. Center fielders Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones appear on track to gain election to the Baseball Hall of Fame today. By the time you see this, it might have already happened. As of Monday night, Beltran had been picked on 89.2% of ballots, while Andrew Jones was at 83%, both surpassing the 75% needed for induction. If elected, they will be inducted July 26th alongside second baseman Jeff Kent. To the football, and Indiana's Fernando Mendoza spent the college football playoff showing the nation just why he earned the Heisman Trophy this year as college football's top player. He threw more touchdown passes than incompletions in Indiana's first 2 playoff wins, and Fernando also delivered the signature moment of the playoff with his 12-yard touchdown run on a 4th and 4 play in the Hoosiers championship victory Monday night over Miami in Miami. That makes him an easy pick today as the quarterback of the Associated Press All-CFP team that recognizes the best playoff performers at each position. Oh, you're going to be hearing a lot of Fernando Mendoza. If you haven't, well, you have been. You're going to be hearing more as we get ready for the NFL draft this spring. By the way, for the CFL fans, I know you're watching and tuned in there. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have re-signed American kicker Sergio Castillo And Australian punter Jamison Sheehan, the CFL club announced. The kicker Castillo from La Jolla, Texas, won a Grey Cup with the Bombers in 2021 and was a league all-star with the BC Lions in 2019. He is also suited up for Ottawa, Hamilton, and Edmonton. Meanwhile, the Calgary Stampeders have re-signed American receiver Eric Brooks to a 2-year contract. Stamps also signing American linebacker R.J. Moten, who played college ball with Michigan and Florida. And the Grey Cup champion Saskatchewan Roughriders have signed Canadian receiver Kian Schaefer-Baker and American quarterback Jack Cohn to contract extensions. Now you know the rest of the story. Sports Update is for our friends at the Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store. Rough Riders, Blue Jays, NFL, NHL, they've got it all. Rep your team loud and proud with Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store. Shop now at ultimatefanzone.ca. Not a lot of time. Not enough time to get into our picks. I'm just checking in with the masses in the swamp, which is the streaming chat. Kevin the Medium is watching from Maple Creek, and he says, it hurts my soul when I hear how good Hughes is playing. I had to think for a second. Are you guys related? You're talking about Quinn Hughes of the Minnesota Wild. Ooh. You know, it's funny, by the way, as I was thinking about that interview with Jared, I'm like, you know, what some good questions would be. And I'm thinking, how many teams that have had the last rites read over their playoff chances actually do have a chance? There are more than you would think. Winnipeg Jets have a tremendous chance. It's half a season. They dug themselves in this big hole, but they can dig themselves out, and it looks like they are, save for the shutout loss at Chicago. But they're back home tonight against St. Louis, and we'll get to those picks when we return. The Leafs, I mean, up and down like a toilet seat, always are. It's certainly going to make this lead up to the trade deadline quite exciting. Anyways, we got more comments we'll get to when we come back, plus our NHL picks for the night. When overtime hits us right after this, you're watching the RP Show across the beautiful state of Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, and Canada and 33 states now on Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Okay, welcome back for Overtime, everybody. Are you looking for the perfect place to perfect your shot? Well, look no further. We're talking about hockey shot, not but close. Look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary with state-of-the-art shooting lanes, top-notch equipment. It's the ultimate training destination for players of all ages and skill levels. Whether you're prepping for the big game or just want to have some fun, stop in and check them out. Tell them the RP Show sent you. Look for Randy and Michelle. They now have shooter training. Just so you know, we were talking last night about Connor Bedard's shot in the press box at the Florida Panthers game. The kid shot 1,000 pucks a day growing up. That's how you do it. Go to a place like Overtime Hockey Lanes. They already have the pucks there for you. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. Listen, we invite the audience participation here in Overtime. I would hope by now you know that. 1,659 episodes. Tomorrow, hour one, i.e. Wednesday, hour one, it will be just me solo. So that's really going to be audience participation. I really rely on you, the viewer and the listener, to help me out in those solo sessions. So, sort of like, as my friend Chris from the Bronx says, who I saw last night at the Panthers game, you're like the Rush Limbaugh of sports. Thank you, I think. Oh, and I will say this before I get into the picks. I'm pretty excited that we've added a 33rd state to the Game Plus viewing family. You got that, guys? In the control room in Toronto. Not that didn't change our lives, does it? But I've had a lot of these NHL people are coming through here. The Winter Classic. Last night, Drew Remenda with the Sharks. Dennis Bernstein, the LA Kings writer with fourthperiod.com. Oh, yeah. We watch you out there. You do? Those that don't know me will be surprised by this. Those that do know me, like Kevin the Medium, no, I'm always shocked when anybody knows who I am. Stunned that anybody would know who I am. And apparently we're on in San Jose, Los Angeles, and God knows where else in the Golden State. So, hi. Speak up and be heard. 902-518-3033 is the text line to do just that. NHL tonight, 3, 6, 8 games. Ottawa at Columbus, as I do my picks every day. Ottawa at Columbus. I believe the Blue Jackets are still benefiting from the new coach bounce. Blue Jackets for me. By the way, don't take this as betting advice. You're welcome. The San Jose Sharks are at Tampa Bay. It's the Bolts. Although the Sharks really did impress me last night, but they just played last night. And I think they'll take the foot off the gas in Tampa tonight, playing, well, what I think is the NHL's best team. Minnesota at Montreal. The Wild are going to be coming in fat after motorboating the Leafs last night. The Habs are waiting for them. Ole, 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 ole. Montreal will win. Boston at Dallas. Oh, that's a matchup of two really good hockey teams. I got to go with the Stars. We're going to get a hockey analyst on here, another one of the insiders that thinks they know what the trades are going to happen. People are saying the Stars are going to be active. That was the buzz last night in the rink. Stars are going to be loading up. St. Louis Blues at Winnipeg, rematch of last year's playoffs. Jets are going to rebound with a win tonight. Buffalo at Nashville. I see no reason why the Sabres wouldn't keep this hot hand going. You welcome Jenna in Southern California, the biggest Sabres fan that I know. New Jersey Devils at the Edmonton Oilers. The Oil looking for a third straight win. The Devils coming off a win in Calgary last night. It's got Edmonton win written all over it, and I'll stay to that. We've got Kevin Carius joining us from Edmonton Sports Radio 1440 Wednesday in the hour 2 spot. We'll be talking, obviously, a lot of NHL with him and some NFL, too. And the final game of the night is a rematch of the 2014 Stanley Cup Final. The New York Rangers at the Los Angeles Kings. Yeah. I got the Kings to win that one. Those are my picks. What are yours? It's a little thing we call sport betting. It's like sport fishing. You catch the fish and throw it back. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but it's a big thing. And I think sport betting can be too. We make the picks, but we don't put money on it. It's good for kids. 902-518-3033. You got a slow leak, producer Corey. I just heard it. Paul in Humboldt writes in, he says, did the Rangers scout tell you who they might be moving? I heard Panarin's on the block. He didn't say a damn word about it. He knew better. We didn't talk about that. Al Tour is his name. You know what we talked about? His dad and my dad being room dogs in College Park seniors living in the Queen City. That's what we talked about. And old Pat's Warriors stories. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, you didn't go to football last night, right? No. We're hockey first over here. I should know that by now. Jeremy says, hey, Rod, when will the Wings crack your top 5 teams list? They've been at the top of the East all year. Takes a little more than half a season to get into that prestigious club, I'm going to tell you, Jeremy. But thanks for the reminder. We'll do top 5, bottom 5. Things are starting to happen. I got a message last night from a lady leaving the hockey game last night, the Panthers game. She's like, can't wait for your Cats and Bolts podcast Wednesday. I'm like, good. That's what we want. Anticipation. The odd thing about that Rangers scout Al Tour, he's like, oh, I've heard of the Cats and Bolts podcast, but you have a show? A TV show? Yeah, House. 1,659 episodes ago. It's on your television out there in Vernon, BC. Channel 924 Telus. Channel 230 Rogers, Shaw Cable. Yeah, these guys. Hockey guys. We'll bring them around. Thanks to Jared today, Mitchell Scruffy Blair, producer Corey, and most of all you. We'll see you tomorrow here on Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus.
That